I still have a case study that I'm working on that you're going to see in real time, but you're going to get the preview of the next test that I believe, if this works well, is the biggest, most impactful change to any company doing digital marketing in the last 5 years.
You say the last 5 years, because that's pretty
It,
significant amount of time. That's before
yep.
like iOS and everything,
In my
or right
opinion,
around iOS.
I think that this is when we're talking about how to get the next leg up and growth of your business in the foreseeable future, which means until algo update, which we don't even know what that is. So when I say foreseeable future, it could be a year. Who knows? But usually Meta doesn't spend $65 billion in CapEx, have such good success in 2024 that or in 2025 that they now plan on spending 125 billion in CapEx, doubling down on Andromeda. So when we say that this stuff is here to stay, it's here to stay 40% more technically, because that's how much more billions of dollars have been put into this. This is going to be really, really cool, a lot of fun. And I'm going to walk through my thought process, and then I'm going to walk through the tests that I already have someone building out for themselves, and I'm going to run a variation of it myself. I have multiple people testing the same thing at the same time. Genius strategy. And it's two different combined strategies that we've already shown here today, or shown here in our school community. So this is that Yellowleaf Hammocks company that we're talking about. The company here in the last 180 days, before they called me, lost $1 million in their revenue. So they're down 36%. They lost basically, they're down to 2.7. It was like essentially 3.7 because you had essentially 1/3 be taken off. So you lose essentially $1 million. Not doing too good. They need to be above, like, at least close to a 3. If they can get them above a 3, they're above water, they can breathe. They're just like paying their bills with all their sales that month. So we said, okay, how do we make sure that we can grow out of this? Yada, yada, yada. All the stuff from the case study last week. Turned off 191 of 200 ads. Did that on the 6th through the 8th. It took me the weekend of going through everything. Started on the 6th, done on the 8th. The week after I'm done on the 8th, we have Facebook ads spending 50% less, getting 10% more new visits. Meta has introduced a quality score. Meta says if your quality score isn't above a 5 out of 10 for all my Google folks out of there, you're going to have an increase in CPC, which we call CPM. You're going to have a decrease in good, fresh traffic, which we call kind of warm traffic. And you are not going to get the prime placement that you will inside your replacement in the SERP, i.e. how Facebook does it, is you're not going to get the prime buyer. You're going to get maybe the one more middle of the funnel that's kind of halfway interested in your product. You will not get Caden, who wants to buy the hammock. You're going to get John, who's too fat to even sit in a hammock, but kind of likes hammocks. I'm just making up stuff up. So you kind of see that you don't get the cream of the crop because you do not have the quality score. But even if you spend twice as much, you won't get twice as many new users because you can spend half as much and get 10% more. So both are true. So spend increasing on Facebook isn't going to increase the revenue number. It has to go to Facebook first. And Facebook has to be seasoned on a tower, and it says, the creative is good enough. Grow your company. Creative is not good enough. 180 days before snapshot of Yellowleaf Hammocks. How do I know that to be true? Well, if you look at the last 180 days, you can see that even through no fault of their own, they kept the spend pretty high. But because they shifted to a lot of image ads focusing on TROAS, which is warm traffic, all their new visits went away.
Yeah.
Aha. So we are seeing a trend here.
But I don't use restricted bidding.
Yeah. But I spent the money, Caden. Where are all my new visits? Well, that also is because this campaign here for the last 30 days or 180 days was unfortunately having to use creative from back in 2024 and 2023 era. October 2023, July 2023, January 2024, May 2024. You can see that they weren't doing any creative. They're just like, that one used to work last year. And then Meta said, oh, really? You're going to give me that ad again? I'm sorry. You don't get anybody new. Eno, your competitors, Eno, Hammocks, those guys crush it. Those guys are awesome. I mean, look at the imagery they're producing. I'm Facebook. I don't want to piss off Caden. Caden's going to buy a hammock. Do I want to show Caden, this happy-go-lucky person relaxing in an amazing hammock? Or do I go back to 2024 and say, hey, you remember in 2022 when we were on Shark Tank, please? Meta says, I'm sorry, the 2022 Shark Tank episode is not as good as the new piece of creative. So you do not get the traffic. The good traffic, at least. I'll take your money. Yeah, I'll take that because you're dumb enough to not even know that I'm just hemorrhaging your cash from you, but you're not going to get the traffic.
Yeah, look at that cost per new visit. It's crazy.
Your cost per, yeah, exactly right. To bring a new person to the sites now costs you more than twice as much.
As Google.
Shit, right?
That's horrible.
You can kind of see, like, where did all of our traffic go? But I spent the amount of money. Yes. If you would give me $1 million and not run Google ads or Meta ads, I would like that. Give me $1 million. I'll tank your company 43% too. Well, you got paid for it. So anyway, that's the scenario. That's how we're identifying. That's how we're proving it. You can double your budget. Doesn't matter. Or you can cut your budget in half. And you can still scale. It's all about the quality score. Now, here's what's funny is, remember how through the 8th to the 14th, yada, yada. Well, people have actually, because I've presented this case, they say, John, you're in a cash snapshot. Yes, you tank the spend, but of course, in this small time period, the buyers are still there. See how your traffic's actually reducing? How do you not know if this is just leftover traffic that's still purchasing? Great question. Here is the accrual performance. This is the one-day look-back view. This means that of only the spend, what has happened to it? You'll see a 2.71 ROAS here, and you'll see a 4 ROAS there. That's because this is a cash versus accrual. This is conversion by conversion time. This is a conversion by conversion click. But it still had the same effect. I increased.
I just want to make sure people understand that. So
this was hard, but yeah.
Yeah, like any information that occurred before this date range is not counted. Mm-hmm. So we're just looking at this date range in a snapshot. That is the breakdown of accrual. Cash takes into account the previous, get more lined up, the previous information, like previous clicks that people got, versus just picking out this small piece, and only interactions in this small piece are counted.
Yep. You see how this blue line here, how that blue only goes halfway up, blue only goes a third of the way up, blue goes a third of the way up. And then you see down here at the bottom, the blue is like full, halfway up, full. That blue is 1 day. 1 day is 1 day look back. So what this means is that of the $50,000 in this time period, plus any money you spent before this time period on people who converted in that time period are here. This view says of the $50,000 you spent, and only of the $50,000 you spent since that time period, no other money before and no new visits and no users from before that period can no longer be measured. Only the money in this model. How did that do? 43% better. Okay. How to do that? By shutting off 90% of the ads. So that's what's kind of cool, is we can actually even see like the difference between like the first like week of changes. Yes, the cash model is up 113%, but the accrual model is still up 93%.
Gotcha.
That's exactly the same thing.
So we verified, because I mean we've covered this last week as well too. So I want to make sure that we're moving on to the next thing. But
there's a lot of people that for some reason have cognitive dissonance, and it's like, here's a free gold bar. They're like, yeah, but I don't think it's gold. And so I'm trying to say, like, I scratched it. I put it in the tester. Like, that's all we're doing. Yep. So that's why we're doing that. But long story short, now, what does that mean for us, though? That means that, what is the update? Since I'll just do a week before and a week after. The week before John Moran got here, we'll call it we started on the 6th. Let's just do this. This is week 1. Even though I started the 6th, we'll do technically, I guess we'll do the 5th. So we'll do the 30th through the 5th. This is the before, 1.1 and a 1.549. That's 30th through the 5th. This is last week. Went from below a 2 to above a 4. I mean, and my accrual last week is now almost a 3.
And your rev is up 33%.
We went from a cash 1 to an accrual 3. Like, I'll bring the client on here and be like, Joe, are you happy? It shit's working. There's proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Hey, if you like this video, we have a school community where we have a few hundred members and we cover topics, everything from the basics to all the way to the like hyper crazy advanced stuff that's like coming out next month. So a few hundred members there. We go live twice a week, something with an hour-long education about something that is very relevant to the community that week, plus a weekly Q&A where you just get to come and bring us all of your problems and we solve them one at a time.
So I have a link below in the description if you want to join. And then obviously if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we can answer those for you. And we'll see you in there.